Meet Chimombe, the man of iron. One other extraterrestrial being that has been seen in Africa hundreds of times. This creature here has the distinction of being worshipped in many African countries as a god, but it is a space-faring entity. It looks for all the world like a cross between a robot and a battle tank. Its head reminds one of the turret of one of the war tanks of the Second World War. And its body is made up of heavy metal with many joints which move with a faint hissing sound. In Nigeria, they call this entity Ogon. In parts of Central Africa, he is called Nguguni, the Lord of the Blacksmiths. And in the land now known as Zimbabwe, Nguguni is worshipped as Chimbi or Chimombe, and his shrine is in the Zambezi Valley. There, in the shrine of Chimombe, you will find black men and women who wear clothes made out of black cloth. And in olden times, these people used to accept gifts of rolls of black cloth from all people who visited the shrine of Chimombe for any reason. If the priests of that shrine do not trust you, they will show you a piece of metal, a twisted rod of metal which has been driven into a piece of wood, and they will tell you that this is Chimombe. But if you are a traditional healer, a black medicine man or woman whom they trust absolutely, they will fetch from a secret hiding place in the bush the real object which they are the guardians of. This is a piece of metal about ½ an inch thick and about the size of both my hands placed this way. The piece of metal, and I speak as a person who does metal work of all kinds, the piece of metal that these priests showed me after I had stayed in the shrine of Chimombe's vicinity for a number of weeks and had earned the trust of the priests, is like no metal I've ever seen on earth before. It has a strange soap-like quality. It is silvery red in color if you scratch it, and it is unbelievably heavy. Its structure is very dense, but on several sides it appears to have been fused by great heat. And when you ask the priests there, what is this piece of metal? They will tell you that one day on the southern bank of the Zambezi River, a craft from the stars crashed, killing all its occupants. And that as the craft crashed, it exploded, and bits of it were flung in all directions. These bits disintegrated and bent away on falling to the ground. But this peace, which they are the guardians of, was catapulted from the explosion and fell into the water on the edge, on the sandy edge of a part of the Zambezi River. And the tribes people of that time, so many hundreds of years ago, recovered this bit of crashed starcraft, and they kept it in a hidden place as a sign to whatever gods may have been inside that craft, that we are keeping your memory alive in our minds. We shall worship you even though you died in an explosion of flame. That is the story of the shrine of Chimombe. Now, I wish you, honorable friends, to meet a very friendly gentleman from beyond. This being is slightly shorter than the average human being. It is completely encased in a metallic suit which is of a golden color or a silvery color. The eyes have a strange slanting characteristic, and there is always an odd harmonica-like object stuck to the front of the creature's helmet. There are other attachments too upon the creature's suit, and many people who have been very close up to this creature, people all over Southern Africa, attest to the fact that this creature has only 3 fingers and a thumb in one hand, not 5 fingers, as is the case with us. This creature is a thick-set, very clumsy looking, and whenever it encounters a human being, like most of these star creatures, it puts some kind of hypnotic spell upon that human being, and then very gently it touches the chest of the human being with its hand, which it extends exactly as I have done it here. This is the way we are told this creature communicates with human beings. You will often find this strange gentleman messing about with 2 or 3 assistants like him in goat pens, cattle pens, and fowl runs. At one time, a Zulu householder caught a number of these creatures, and having enclosed one of his cows in a cage-like structure, which they were moving backwards and forwards, up and down, as if taking measurements of the cow for some reason. After that, the Zulu told us that cow of his disappeared while grazing with other cows in the bush about a month after this incident, and was never seen again. These creatures are often seen also stealing eggs in African villages. They seem to be very interested in the eggs of domestic fowls. Why this should be so, I do not know. But this is something that I have encountered many times in my career as a Sangoma that strange humanoid metallic entities with spherical heads are often seen stealing eggs in African fowl runs. This creature is known by the Zulus by the comical nickname of Ndeiza, which means Lord Big Round Head. And one tribe in Transkei knows this creature as Mvondini, which means ugly fellow. Now, wait a minute. Many mysteries occur not only in Africa but in other parts of the world, and so connect two separate or more continents together. In Australia, Australian Aborigines portray again and again a creature more or less like this. A creature with large friendly eyes, no mouth, head and shoulders and legs. And they call it a Vonjina.